Hole number one for the Deep Sea 9-hole cup. We're starting with a par four. Now, I'm just using a marlin ball and an extra mile here, giving it 4.5 top in this light cross tailwind, and just a little bit of side spin there to the left. Got that red ring close to the rough, and you can play this one with any kind of extra wind resistance. Watching myself play it now and looking at the spin sets we're using, I would say a navigator ball here is probably going to be your very best bet. Going to help a lot with the second shot as well. Second shot, we're playing a fairly straightforward rough bump here. Play this one at 10% medium distance or 10% mid, and that drive, as you can see, was 10% max. So setting it up here with about 1.5 bars of topspin. If you've got a high-level grizzly or something with an excellent ball guide, this is a great time to do it. Nonetheless, you can also see the top edge of that yellow circle just about touching the edge of the rough. So use those indicators to set up your shot. And we're just going to have to see what kind of wind they give us in the tournament, what we'll actually have to do to get those drops when it counts. All right. I'll see you on hole number two. Hole number two, and we're playing this one at 20% mid adjustment. You can see here 3 bars of top spin, 2 bars of right spin, and we're setting it up in front of this little rough peninsula, if you will. I've got that top edge of the yellow ring just touching, and you see the tip of the third bounce, how it's right on the fringe. Now, I like to reference those green square rows in relation to where we're setting this one up and the tip of that ball guide. But I think this is a really safe and very, very makeable approach. One that, I'll stick with in all wind conditions. You definitely could bring, a different ball once again, but a couple bars of side spin here. We get so close. That little camera zoom in. We're going to drop this one when it matters. I'll see you on hole number 3. Welcome to hole number 3. This par 5, I would say, is quite difficult to get an albatross on. I played this setup here in a nice tailwind. 0% max, so using the full bars of topspin available to me on a quarterback 7, which is about 3 or so bars here. I would actually go 4 to 5 if you've got it on the club that you're playing it with. So to compensate for that, I use just a little bit of overpower here just until the ring of the adjustment circle cracks. It's going to really depend on the wind. If we've got headwind here, you might want to use a lot. You might want to use a different driver. I mean, there's lots of ways you can play this shot, but at the end of the day, avoid the bunker and play it up as close to the top of the rough here as you can safely get without going over. Second shot, negative 10% max distance, important here. Playing it with the big dog. Now you can see 2 bars of right, 1 bar or 1.2 ticks of right spin. Now look very carefully where that landing position is. See that little crook, that little outcropping to the right? We've got that bottom right corner of that yellow ring tucked in there very intentionally. Now, adjusting, of course, like we said, with an uphill elevation, negative 10% max. And I do put sometimes a little bit, there you go, see a little bit of right curl there just to help it up that hill. Now, great ball did not help us at all here, but we still get away with it. And you can see here how we get a little bounce, roll it up the hill, and ooh, so close. This one, maybe we're going to turn it into an opportunity. If you find value from this kind of video, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe now to Erelic Gaming so you don't miss out on any of my future Golf Clash videos. Good luck in the tournament. Hole number 4, this par 3, I'm going to show you a couple ways to do it. First method here, 20% minimum. We're going to bounce it up directly from the first fairway over the sand and just try to get it in the hole. About I'm just using like 1.25 topspin here. Now that's coming into a really strong headwind. That's kind of why I'm setting it up with the yellow ring cutting into the rough. I know I'm going to get a decently compressed ball guide with this wind effect. So that's something we always have to talk about. We always have to take into consideration. But this one we had pretty well dialed in this tournament where this footage comes from. It just gives you an idea of an alternate way to play. You see how we didn't get that close to the rough. Bounce and roll in the hole. Hey, that's one way to do it. Let's check out the rough bump. All right, so hole number 4, 45% minimum distance here, and I'm setting this up with 3.5 top. 3 left. You're going to want to make sure you take some practice shots with this before you go live with it, okay? Skinny margins here. We're using the green inner ring as reference points here. Centered up and just going to have to make your pull. I didn't want to do this shot at the time because I'm adjusting down into a bunker. And I know oftentimes when you do so, you need to push back up. I'm well aware. However, that is factored into the elevation in this shot. And whoo, baby, this one, I would prefer if that wind was coming from right to left, but it's doable. And I know many of you are going to drop it. All right, we'll see you on hole number 5. Hole number 5, it's a fun par 4. You can play it to the left. You can play it down the center, as many people in expert, master, pro will do. But I really thought in a rookie playthrough, it was very sensible of me to indicate a method of play here that is achievable by everyone with some fairly basic equipment. That down the center play, I'll probably play it with a big topper in the tournament. This one, though, a couple bars of top spin, a bar of right spin. You just want to bounce it here over this bunker and get it nicely far down this wide open right-hand fairway. What that does is it leaves us a couple other options. Now, I'm coming at this second shot with a thorn. It's really my short iron of choice. But really, you could bring a runner or a hornet if you've got a high level one, and play a rough bump if that's your jam. Otherwise, I'm playing a 10% max bounce over shot here. And given the wind, given the setup, I don't use any spin at all. Just a little bit of that red ring clipping into the rough, and this gives us an excellent opportunity for a drop. So these are a couple of fun holes, these par 4s. They give you many choices and many ways you can play it. The video would be way longer if I showed you all of them, but come to the live stream, Erelic Gaming on YouTube here, and yeah, I'd love to play through it with you live in person. Hole number 6 is our, what I would think, only par 5 with a really good chance for albatross. You can play it on the left there. You can also play it on the right. Given the wind and just my choices at the time, I opted to play here with the big topper, max top, and a Titan ball. Now, again, you could use a power 5 ball. You could do a lot of cool things here, but I like that I didn't have to use max over power with the big topper, just a little bit. Still want to hit perfect, always. And you want to get it down the middle here as far as you possibly can down this long fairway. And that's going to set us up for a second shot. Now, second shot, if you're not comfortable with a rough bump, just play it towards the green, max back, max left spin, and just kind of play it safe for an eagle. But I think that this is a really decent shot for an albatross. So I'm setting it up kind of in true mid distance, but playing at -20 max is what I calculated after making this video. I played it at a different elevation in the video. A couple bars of left spin here is what you want to use, and maybe just like anywhere from like half to 1 bar of top spin depending on the wind. And this one gives us a nice little opportunity. Mind the second bounce. Be very careful that you don't have your second bounce on this shot too close to the rough, because, ooh, as you can see, you can clip that there and you'll leave yourself a makeable second shot. But we want to get close and we want to drop this one. I'll see you on hole number 7. Hole number 7 is a par 3 that I would say is deceptively difficult. I'm giving this one 5 top, 1 right, and I actually have written here 1201 in my note. And also, you can see that I've got about like 0.3 of that yellow ring sticking out of the rough into the fairway there. All of those details are important because this is a very unpredictable landing position, and it's sort of nothing flat about it. So you really have to get a very precise setup here and try to recreate that landing position as close as you can, where you can find some consistency. And of course, different wind, different result. But, this one, it gives us a chance. And if you can get this one, you're going to really get an extra shot over the field. Let's go check out hole number 8. Hole number 8 is another one of these Drew Moore Links par 4s that are very makeable, and there's multiple ways to play it. You can get to the green here if you've got good wind, especially on the right-hand side. I'm electing, however, in a light headwind, to play this shot with a katana ball and a big topper. 10% max is the adjustment here. And the thing about this left fairway, it does slope from left to right. So you're going to want to be careful that you don't play it too close to the right. And, you know, don't leave out that bar of left spin. It might actually save you and put you in a much better position. See, you could roll into that corner there, but a little bit of left spin leaves us beautifully in the middle of the fairway. Now, second shot, I'm playing this one. I put 10% mid here. I'm kind of playing it at slider, at whatever your club distance is. Mid would be fine if you don't know what that is. But I'm using a backspin approach here. We're giving it 3.8 back and 1 left in this setup. You can definitely play a rough bump here, right? You can play a rough bump on the right. You can go for the green on the right. But I think this is a very repeatable and very makeable pathway for most players. So that's why I'm showing you this path. But I'm not discrediting, you know, other successful ways that you can get this done. As part of the fun of Golf Clash, I love that about this game. But this is a way that I recommend. This is a way that I've had consistency with, and one that I've dropped more than once. And I think that's important. You know, that timer just down to 1 second there. But we get the bounce, we get the drop. Nice. I'll see you on the last hole of the tournament, hole number 9. Hole number 9 of this 9-hole cup is difficult. Okay, getting to the green here needs good wind and a decent setup. I got a quarterback here with a power 5 ball. Now, I've got a Liberty ball. It was free to play. Okay, I got this in the QR code event. Use a berserker, it's going to be just fine. Okay, 4 back, 2 right. I've got that yellow ring at the plus 18 mark with the yellow ring just touching that rough. Now, I don't use any curl here because we don't want to run the risk of getting this one into the rough. I've done that before. Don't do it. Depending on the wind, of course, we may adjust that slightly, but nonetheless, this is generally a very safe way to play. Put ourselves in a good position for the second shot. Now, our goal is to get to the green in 2. If we've got a bad wind, guys, it's going to be tough to push this one up there. You may have to bounce before the rough and roll as close as you can for that second shot. 5 top, and I'm giving it about a bar of right spin to compensate for that right to left wind. Now, see how I'm aiming on the kind of left side of that green? I would actually say to try to use 2 bars of right spin here. That's what I wrote in my notes. And you can kind of curl it down, you know, from the left to the right. Oh, for you, it's the left to the right. It's all going to depend. I pushed it back to max here. We're trying to get as much distance as possible. But because of that good wind, we don't need the max OP for that exact shot there. So again, I should have used a Zerk, but you have to understand my account balance had more of these balls than those pretty little purple and black ones. But either way, you get it down here, you tap it in for eagle. You're going to be way ahead of many rookie players. This is a tough one.